Welcome to Blank Mind Crafting. This is Charles. Hi. Today is a little different. This is the storytelling part of my channel, where I give you tips and trades and things I've learned as a storyteller. I call myself a storyteller. Some people do DM, Dungeon Master. Some other people do Game Master, GM. I like Storyteller because I'm the narrator. Narrator to my players' adventure, campaign. Into their lives we go. When I'm thinking, best place I think is on the road. I start thinking of different things. I listen to music sometimes, and that gets me motivated. But today, I want to talk about NPCs. For non-player characters. Non-player characters are hectic for any storyteller, because they're NPCs for a reason. They're not going to be around for much. They're not the main villain. They're not the main friend. These NPCs are meant to be seen for snippet and then left alone. However, that's what a storyteller does, is storytell. And players are, how do I put it? You can't count for them. You cannot count for them. Why? Because if you start trying to anticipate what they do, let's say they go right and you wanted them to go left and you try to veer them, they will fight you tooth and nail. But if you put these NPCs in the way, they will start going the way you want them to do. Or the opposite, which brings me to my story today. My story starts off, and this is what I learned about NPCs, and I'll tell you how to help with NPCs after this little bit of story. So, I made this dwarven gnome halfling town on the side of a mountain. There's no soil. It's just rock everywhere. Well, they made this town in this area, and the players are walking down the street. No mud, because there's no mud. There's no dirt. There's gravel and cobblestone-esque, and it's very beautiful. The buildings on either side are beautiful. They're tall, they're brick lane, stone inlays, marble-esque. There's taverns, there's hotels, there's shops that they can do. And I mentioned there's a fruit and veggie stand on the one corner of this intersection. And what do my players want to do? They want to go over to the fruit and veggie stand to get some fresh fruit and veggies. Okay, that's no problem. Pause there. As a storyteller, DM, GM, instantly you have to make a character. I made two halflings. They were married. One was the bubbly type, and one was more of the grumpy type. Back to the story. They walk over to this fruit and veggie stand, and it says fresh vegetables, fresh fruit. Doesn't have a sign on it saying what kind of company they are. Just, hey, this is what they are. And the bubbly halfling, I have already forgot their names because their names kind of get changed halfway through this encounter. And yeah, that's what sometimes happens. So storytellers, let the player characters sometimes change people's names. That's the fun part. The other fun part is that I said their names and introduced them to the characters. And the bubbly one is like, we have fresh vegetables, fresh fruit. That's why they call me veggie and him fruity. Or veggie and fruit. Like, we're fruit and veggie. Like, we own the stand. And the one player is like, well, that's what you should call your fruit stand. Fruit and veggie. You already have a slogan. And I rolled with it. You roll. You take that information and you counter it. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then the problem. Pause the story. I didn't even think about it. Where do they get their fruit? Where do they get their vegetables? Where do they get their food? Do they import it? Do they export it? Do they have a little area where they bring soil? They brought soil up from years and years to pull this and everything. I didn't even think about that. All I did was, it's a fruit and veggie stand. Of course, marketplaces have that. I made 2 NPCs. The players gravitated to them. And pick up the story. One player goes, says, I look around, but I don't, where do you get these? My face probably dropped. I'm like, it's a good question. In my head, saying, I didn't think about that. But to keep it going and not like just throw out something random like, oh yeah, they export it, because that's not interesting. Now, the other part I thought about is, they took years bringing, while they're building this, they brought dirt up. No. Didn't think of that one either until later on. That would have built up some story also. No, I thought of a better thing, and really quick. They had earth mages. People who could tend the rocks and make them into dirt itself, like change that topography. Is that right? Geography, topography. Basically change rock into the soil and then grow these vegetables and the trees and fruits, where they made a greenhouse for these earth mages. Well, the players dig that. They loved that. They thought that was really cool. I thought it was really cool in my head. And then it just blossomed from there. Blossomed. Because, well, how do earth mages water their plants? Well, they have water mages to help bring water there. So you have a water and an earth mage working as farmers. They're farmers. They love what they do anyways. They get to do what they need to do. And they're making money by doing their craft. Just like farmers. I built something in this world and players loved it. Now, fast forward. This is another thing about NPCs that your players grab onto. Well, at the end of the three 3.5 year campaign, they wanted to know what happened to Fruit and Veggie. What happened to the two halflings? Where are they still in that area? Did they go to another place? Did they go here? Did they go there? As a storyteller, I already thought about that. I already thought what happened to them after this random encounter, this momentary pinpoint. What happened to them too? What direction did they go? Well, they went a fun direction. They went to another town. They set up a new area. They taught the earth mages and the water mages how to grow food, how to bring water in and make it better for the areas. So even the poor had food. Even the rich had food. And it gave basically a end to them that the players loved, because they enriched these two halflings and gave them such a motivation, I guess you would say, into the world. The players loved it. So and that random encounter, that random NPCs had me thinking and made me think. I've been racking my brain and running out of NPC names, areas, what they look like, everything like that. And oh man, I got upset. And I was getting kind of what us storytellers say, kind of on the burned out side of NPCs. Making generic NPCs, making these random encounters that don't have and your players notice. Your players notice, storytellers, when you're just reeling it in, not really putting forth your effort. Players know. Players understand sometimes, but if you do it session after session, you're not gonna have a 3.5, 4-year, 5-year campaign where you go through multiple enemies or multiple, that storyline that you wrote will eventually blossom into the campaign that you wanted to tell the story about, to have your adventuring heroes be the heroes that you wanted. Will that happen? Not if you're just faking it. It's not fun for anybody, not even the storyteller. So here's my tip. And you can use the fruit and veggie stand or the guys or that story. I don't care. That it's a fun little tidbit my players like. But here's my tip for NPCs, the non-player characters. Make a list. Make a before the campaign even starts. Make a list. When I tell you you think it's enough, make 10 more. At towards the end of the campaign, I had over 100 different names of NPCs that they encountered, they've talked to. 50 of those were probably made on the fly. Up here, quick-witted, get them done. That's what they were. The other 50 were a little bit more researched, and they were the more encountered ones. But you make a list. Let's say you want to start out small. Make 10 names. Just 10 names. Type them out, write them out, however you do it. I usually use my laptop and then print the list out so I have a hard copy, and then I also have it on my laptop just in case, you know what, I forgot to plug in my laptop and my laptop battery goes way down. But you have the list of NPCs, and what that list is their name. So let's do Barbara. Stonehenge. No. Barbara Stonetrance. Just saw a sign that said entrance. I like the trance. Stonetrance. Barbara Stonetrance. Let's make her a dwarf female. Okay, there you have an NPC. Okay, right there. You can move on if you want to. I don't. Okay, so it's Barbara Stonetrance, dwarf female. What is her occupation? Owner of a tavern. Okay, what's the tavern's name? I'll get into naming different things, but usually it's something tavern, or something like a collar something tavern, or like Pink Squirrel Tavern, or Pink Squirrel Bar, or Walnut Tavern. Something that connects the players. You know, she is a dwarf, so you could say the Drunken Dwarven Bar. Who knows? But I do like the Pink Squirrel one. So Pink Squirrel Tavern. Let's go with that one. She owns a Pink Squirrel Tavern. What does she look like? Brief description. Not full head to toe description. Just on this paper is a brief description. This is just a quick look at paper, pick out the NPC. That's who they're going to go see. So, red hair. She is a dwarf. So, that red, let's make it bright red. Like fire red. But the end of her hair is pure white. Kind of like my beard. Pure white. Not that it's going white. It's pure red with the ends being white. Makes her stand out. And next thing you notice is her big smile. That's the description I have. Nothing more, nothing less, just that. Those are the thing. Then I go to the next NPC. Let's say Sinjin. That's all. Sinjin. No last name, no middle name, just Sinjin. Male elf. I usually don't give a height in these descriptions. Sorry, my camera bopped. I don't give a height unless it is important. Like this Sinjin, this elf. He's almost 8 foot tall, slender built. Like almost sickly thin. Why is that important? Who knows? I don't know. This is just a random NPC. I don't know yet until he gets introduced, or ever gets introduced. I don't know. These are random. What does he do? He's a mortician. You know, that's probably why he's so slender and so tall. But he's a mortician. He deals with funerals. He deals with death. Okay, that's it. Move on. I don't care about his looks. Because being slender, tall, everybody's gonna go either creepy or creepy. And I don't care. I want them to go creepy. Because in my mind, that's where I go. I go creepy. They're probably gonna go creepy. But then you go into the next, and the next, and the next. Then you have a piece of paper right there with you. That when your players go into a new area, and you have it set up for the correct NPCs that they need to be in. This is random NPCs. And they don't go into that tavern that you want them to go. They want to go into a different tavern or a different area. And you have to make up different stuff. That's where you grab your random NPC paper and look down and pick one. Make a note of it where they're at, what town they're in. That way, if your players come back to the town, that NPC's still there. For the better, for the worse, who knows? Maybe they come back to the pink squirrel and it's closed down. Why did it close down? What happened to Barbara? The players are already invested in Barbara Stonetrance. And then you have a little interaction with your players. That's my thing with storytelling. So I hope you liked this video. If you did like this video, please hit like, and if you want to hear more, please subscribe to the Blank Mind Crafting. This is the storytelling part of it, just to help you. This one was about NPCs and trying to help storytellers out with that. Now, every Tuesday, I'm going to be trying to do this. Probably not in a car driving, but I had to do some errands today. So why not? I think a lot in the car and do a lot of my storytelling in the car. Because, guess what? I can talk. Nobody's around to be like, why are you talking to yourself? And I can think out loud. I can interact with my characters that I make, my NPCs, and figure out what to do with that. That's my method. You don't have to do that method. The other methods I do, I'll show you in other videos, probably on Tuesdays. That's when I'm planning on doing my storytelling. On Thursdays, I will be doing my crafting, so painting, crafts, art, miniatures, different stuff on Thursdays to add a little difference. But hopefully you liked my storytelling today, and that you can I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoy the Blank Mind Crafting channel. And again, see you next time.